Please can... Hello? Please can everyone be upstanding for the new Mr. and Mrs. Morton?
Hello, Mum. What are you doing here?
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Sit down,
Oh, that's it. I'm in. Yeah. Just mine. That's it. When you pull your chair. Josh.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Chairs round a minute.
it is my pleasure to introduce the father of the bride, Dave, for the first speech.
Is this big enough?
Right, can you all hear me? I don't want to shout.
No, shout.
I know you're lying over there. And can I just say you look wonderful in a dress again, just for. Anyway, look, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming here today to celebrate the wedding of my lovely daughter, Dawn, and Andy.
That's me.
You're not Andy.
No, I'm Andy.
Yeah.
When you said my daughter, I'm your daughter.
And can I say that I think the gods are shining on us today because, like most people, probably got up this morning and looked at the weather and thought, oh my God. And it has such an effect for people because you can't mingle like we've had a mingling this afternoon. It's been great to see everybody out there and the kids running around, people mixing and chatting to each other. And that's what a wedding's all about. So I'm so pleased that it's turned out like this today. The ceremony itself, I thought was terrific, you know. She looked beautiful, and as a person, I can tell you that my daughter is my daughter, and I know I'm biased, but this is true, is a beautiful person, not just physically, but in everything she does in life. You know, she puts her heart and soul into everything, and we are, my wife and I, we're really proud of her. And what more can I say about her? She's a lovely person. Now I'll move on to Andy. And I think he's a great guy. And I'm so proud of him to be I can now call him son-in-law, because I know how much he cares for Dawn. I've seen it in so many ways. And it's lovely that they finally got together after a delay of a year. And we all know what we've all been through. So, you know, it's been a traumatic time. So I'm so pleased to welcome Andy into our family. I'd just like to thank all of you for coming today. It's been lovely to see you. You all look, the women look beautiful, and the men, they look really, really smart. And I think so far you've had a good time. And I hope that the rest of the afternoon goes that way. And I don't think I really want to say much more other than lovely Joan and Brian. Sorry. When you get to my age, you get like a mental block. But it's lovely to see you here both today, and I dare say you feel exactly the same as I do. So I just want to thank you all again for coming, and that basically is the end of my speech. I don't want to bore you anymore. Thank you.
Tell Pam it's sorted. Yeah, stand. Right, is it you now? Is it you now? Ah, it's my husband.
Oh, you're on my lead.
Where's he going? That was brilliant. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah,
Following a man like that.
yeah.
What an amazing... I'm going to try and do this without my glasses. That's the first thing, so I look good. No, I'm fine, Dad, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, son.
What an amazing day, and to be in the room with all our lovely friends and family. It's just perfect. Thank you. I'm not one for standing up and making public speeches, as you all know. I'm not one for attracting attention to myself. And I do have a couple of mechanisms to help me. One is right here in my hand. Cheers. I needed that. Another one, a good friend of mine told me to imagine that everyone was naked here tonight. Cousin Nick, are you still taking those pills? And I would just like to say a few words before I spend the next 40 years having to listen. Seriously though, thank you all for coming today, especially in these strange and difficult times. Fornication, for an occasion such as this, you're all welcome. I do apologise, I'm worried. Dawn,
Yes.
you look stunning, and you are one of the most incredible people that I've ever met. You're my best friend, fiancée, lover, and she's now become my wife. and for the next 40 years, stuck together. Perfect. I'm almost lost for words. Almost. I promised myself that I wouldn't get too emotional today, but it is very hard with everybody here, and it's such an amazing time. Dawn, as a lot of you know, works in a school for children with special needs. And so she was very kind enough to help me with my proofreading of my speech. Somehow the 1,500 words became 500 words. They say the perfect speech should be 5 to 10 minutes, which is what I'm working on. Where's Lucy? Could you help me out, Lucy, please? Lucy's just going to pop next door and get a couple of things. Anyone that come to the stag party would have remembered a great evening, but a few people shone out, and I wanted a little bit of help today because I'm very concerned my speech is going to go over time. So what I've asked is, what's the matter, Nick? You know, you haven't got to dress up as Pocahontas, don't worry. No. Nick and Dave here, who's come all the way down from the north, Dave and Nick were very good on the drums. So what I thought would be a good idea is, if we can pass them the drums. Dave had the little drums, he was really good on that, and Nick was on the big drums. Just give him a quick beat to show us we're okay. Excellent. Dave, you on the little drums? By the way, you can see this on the video on YouTube. They are really good. They are really good. And what we're going to do is, on 5 minutes, just hit the drums to give me a 5-minute time, and then on 10 minutes, then on 15, and on 20, and 25, and 30. So every 5 minutes, just let me know, all right? Great. And they say not to go over 10 minutes because we might bore the audience. At this stage, I would like to have some presents for the mums, a little gift to say thank you for being so amazing. Again, where is Lucy? Is it? So if the ladies could bring on, there's a present for my mum and a present for my new mum.
Oh, that's lovely, Andy. Don, thank you.
It's got words on the heart. Yeah, read the heart.
Over here.
Lovely, Don. Give us a kiss.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Andy.
This is for my two lovely mums. Dave and Jill, thank you for allowing me into your family and to marry your beautiful daughter.
Anytime, mate. Well, only once.
It's the best gift that you could ever given me. And I can't wait to unwrap my gift tonight.
So
Bit on the mark there, sorry.
Thank you.
Anyone that knows Dave and Jill knows that Dave is a good listener and Jill is a good talker. And I think that Dawn has the best of both of you in her, and probably the best daughter you've ever had.
She's only got one daughter.
Mum, Dad, thank you for having me. And making me your favourite son called Andrew. It cannot have been easy bringing up 4 boys, but I do feel that you did an excellent job in my case. I can still remember the time when she used to make the hand-knitted tank top jumpers and Larry Bright shirts and mouldy, out-of-date homemade Scotch eggs that you made us eat. Us boys were... Sorry, I'm trying to get the glasses. Us boys were always scared to tell Mum when she made something nice, because she would always change the recipe, normally add in something healthier like bran that tasted not quite so nice. And I'm sure my brothers understand what I'm saying there. And then our hard-working dad, our lovely hard-working dad, who used us boys as child labour on his potato grading line in the evenings, when we should have been at home like normal kids watching TV. And you know, he never even paid us for it. Mum, Dad, I love you loads. Thank you. Just looking around for a minute. Page boys.
In front of you.
One there, one there. You both look dashing, and I'm very proud of both of you. All right? Thank you. Bridesmaids, you all look amazing today. What a beautiful family we have, and I think a lot of men's hearts are going to be broken. Pam, sorry, I could jump the line. A special thank you. It gets better. Pam, get out. A special thank you to Facebook, Luther Vandross and Pam Morton. And she knows what I mean by that, and if you want to know more, you need to ask her, because it's a lovely story. But Pam, it is your fault that we're all here today. And seriously, thank you, Pam, for bringing us together and making the perfect match. And we love you loads. I've been waiting to say that for a long time. Please be upstanding for a toast for the bridesmaids and the page boys.
I can't stand up.
Yeah. Bridesmaids and the page boys.
Bridesmaids, page boys, all our kids and cousins
all the kids,
and
yeah.
family. Love you loads. All of you. Is that it? More?
Sorry, you're bored. While researching the speech, I came upon things not to do. Don't get too emotional. Well, I can tell you that's very difficult, but I think I'm okay at the moment. Don't try and be funny. Well, I'm not because I'm not. Don't try and sing if you cannot sing. To be honest with you, I did contemplate singing the song All You Need Is Love because it's Dawn's favourite song. Her dad is very good on the drums playing it, and I thought, do you know what? With Nick and Dave over there, I could do it. But at the last minute, I have decided tonight, not today, not to do that. Hey. And then it says,
Come on, get on with it.
don't tell long stories, as older family members may fall asleep. Where's Uncle Nigel? Is he all right? Okay. And then it says, keep it short, maximum 10 minutes. How are we doing, boys? Thank you. I just next wanted to thank Lucy and the team, the Premier crew, just to say thank you for this amazing venue and what they've done. And hopefully the food will be just as good as the venue. We'll find out soon. But thank you very much. No pressure there, Lucy. Ushers, two handsome men. Like to know where they got their good looks from. And thank you for organising the seating in the church and all the other bits running around. Really appreciated, Matthew and Dan. Thank you. Jay, thank you for driving my bride to the church safely. Hopefully my car is still in one piece. Sheldon. My best man. Thank you for all that you've done. It's at times like this that you realise who your best friends are. It's just a shame that they couldn't make it today. Seriously, thank you for being my best friend and my best man. And we just need to practice our figure of eight. That's a private joke. A few people know about it. Sue, thank you for making an amazing cake. I cannot wait to taste it. I never used to be a sweet tooth person until I met Dawn's family. And I do blame that for part of my weight problems. I used to be very slim. Dawn and I do not always see eye to eye, but on most important issues, we're on the same page. Like watching films, war films, drinking beer, and Thursday nights at the bike club. On our first date, when you first walked out your front door for that first time ever, I'm working this now, and I saw you, I knew something very special was about to happen.
I tripped over.
And then she said hello in her Londonite accent, and the rest is history. And when I proposed to you on the front of the boat, anchored off Marbella, me in my trunks, holding wine glass in one hand and a bottle in another, with an old ring in my pocket that I'd found in your makeup bag. You remember?
Yeah.
And then I sort of fall into the floor, pretending I had cramp, making her stand up topless,
He did.
and then getting on one knee, and then I asked her to marry me. I think I surprised her, but it was an unforgettable magic moment for both of us, I think. Yeah.
We shouldn't be listening to this, Jeff. You kids, you
They
shouldn't be
know,
listening
they
to
know.
it.
Dawn, we have both been on long journeys that have led us here today. Mrs. Morton, welcome to the family. Let the next 40 years be as magical as the last 10 years, and I love you from the bottom of my heart right up to the moon and back.
Lovely.
And I'd like to, as everybody stand up and have a toast to my beautiful, beautiful wife.
I will stand up, but my dress is up my legs.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd now like to pass you over to my best man, Mr. Amazing.
No heckling, please, please. Please bear with me, I'm very, very nervous doing this. Anyway, before I get started, and for those who don't know me, my name's Sheldon, and I'm honoured to be Andy's best man today. It was upsetting when the ceremony and celebrations were unfortunately cancelled last year due to the pandemic, and every day since then we've been waiting with anticipation and excitement for this moment to finally arrive. And I only hope that Team GB does well in this Olympics as they did in 2012. And if anyone deserves, and if these two are competing, Dawn for one deserves a gold medal, and Andy will be hoping for a personal best later tonight. Everyone knows why we're here and gathered for this special occasion, not just for the open bar and free food, but to also celebrate the most exciting day in Dawn and Andy's lives. And a big special thank you for their daughters for creating them, to family, to friends, and the crew members, you know who you are, and to everyone for coming and making their day so incredibly special. So once again, let's give them a round of applause. I do have to say, I actually wrote this about 1:30 this morning, right, so I actually haven't read it through yet.
You're doing good, you're doing good.
When Andy was looking for a best man, he first asked the smartest person he knew. When he was turned down, he then went to the most handsome person he knew. When he was turned down again, he went to the funniest person he knew. Then after having been asked 3 times, I eventually said yes. I did take some convincing though, as I really didn't like the idea of speaking in front of so many people. But Andy begged and said that I should keep it short, simple, not to worry, and basically offering his usual advice. To which I replied, I don't give a speech for just anybody, but you're my best mate, so I will. And it's my job to give Andy an awkward few minutes, and Dawn's will come courtesy of Andy later tonight.
Oh, you're going to upset us again. We're in trouble.
There's a time in everyone's life when they meet their one true love. And that moment came for Andy when he met me 17 years ago. It was on a stag weekend to the Czech Republic, where we cemented our relationship over a drinking session which lasted for about 36 hours. And that's when we first slept together. It was only supposed to have been a one-night stand, but here we are, all these years later, and me speaking at his wedding. It's funny, because recently I asked around to see if anyone had any cute photos of Andy when he was younger. Then I was given a really adorable one of him, lying on a rug, surrounded by toys, naked, dribbling, bottle in hand. And funny enough, it was when he was 39 and on that very stag weekend. Andy has this insatiable appetite for dressing up. And as I'm sure many of you will agree, it's so lovely being invited to an event of theirs where you don't have to dress up as either a Muslim, a Mexican, or an Orthodox Jew, top to you both by the way, a member of ABBA, a cowboy, a member of the French Resistance, Freddie Mercury, and even tube stations, to name but a few. Damn, there have been so many over the years, and today is a wedding theme party, and I can't even get out of dressing up that one. Over the years, Andy's set me up so many times. An example being on stage in front of hundreds of people, playing a child's plastic drum kit, part of a boy band. Andy, or Potato Andy, as he's sometimes known, was born into a potato family with a chip on his shoulder. My job is to either gently roast him, mash him, boil him, but it's lovely to see that he's turned up in a jacket, looking crisp. But I won't waffle on anymore, and that's all the potato puns sautéed.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. So for years now, I've been waiting to get my own back. And now with the potato theme in mind, what better opportunity for even a few minutes in front of his dearest friends and family. Andy, can you come here, please?
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Back to everybody. We want those on. We want that on. So here we have him, Mr. Potato Head. It does look better.
Sit down there, can I?
Still sit down. Sit down.
Sorry, Mum.
I was there the night these two first met, and I remember quite clearly when Dawn was sitting out the back of the Bull in Braintree, when her eyes suddenly glanced up at this tall, dark, fit, handsome stranger as he walked through the door. Then Andy walked in behind him. But love was in the air, and ever since that night, these two have become inseparable. Fantastic, buddy.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
6 years later, they got engaged, and Dawn said that it was incredibly romantic when he got down on one knee to propose. It just took him an hour to get back up again. One day I remember Andy calling me and telling me when he first saw her, it was clearly love at first sight. He was so upbeat in how he described her, saying how beautiful she was, her shapely curves, and the fact that she could go the distance and he could easily take 6 of us at any one time. He was obviously talking about his new boat.
Remember you're sitting next to her, aren't you? You're in trouble.
Dawn,
That's better.
in the years that have followed, and having spent so much time with you both, it's clear to see why you make my friends so happy. It's not just because you're able to fulfill the job of 4 men, tying up the boat, or putting him in his place when needed, but you're silly and you laugh together. You both have the same love of family and friends, you understand each other and have the same perspective of life, and you support one another.
Can I take us off now?
No. We've done so much together. Sorry, this is just a quick story about a little road trip. We've done so much together over the years and so many fond memories with us, with the boys and as couples. And one of my fondest trips was a few years ago when Andy and myself drove down in the dead of night to Toulon in the south of France. This was a journey we did in one hit, sharing the driving, and one of those unforgettable times when for 14 hours we just laughed, talked, and hours of car karaoke. Whilst we're bombing down the motorway, we begin to see these strange flashing lights, but neither of us can make out where they're coming from. A short while later, the same thing again, and then appeared. The next time, they seemed even closer, but again, we simply couldn't make out what these strange lights were. Our close encounter turned out to be a close encounter with the French police in the form of several speeding fines.
Good job you was driving at the time.
I've heard that when Dawn was born, she was bald and slightly chubby. And look at her now. It's quite remarkable. And I have to say, Dawn, how stunning you look today. You're beautiful on the inside and out. Andy, I also heard that you were born bald and chubby. And you haven't changed at all. But seriously, buddy, you also look fantastic today. And definitely scrub up well. And not to leave you out, you're also beautiful on the inside and out.
Thank you.
I do have to say, Andy, how lucky you are. You will leave here today with a beautiful, funny, loving and caring wife. And to you, Dawn, how lucky you are as well. You will leave here today with an amazing dress, bouquet of flowers and all these lanterns.
What a sod. I'm sure he's your mate. Yeah, not anymore.
It's just, Andy, you're the only person I know who has no qualms about eating the peanuts from the bowls left on the bar. We call them the wee nuts. Andy, you're also the only person who has to double check everything. And when you drop anchor, and I'm not talking about your toilet habits, you dive in with your flippers, your goggles, your snorkel to check out to make sure it's placed correctly. Andy, you're the only person I know who would make their friends dress up as tramps and old ladies, and I mean full grey wigs, slippers, pushing trolleys, etc., meet in a car park under the pretense of being picked up so they'll receive a phone call to meet us up. We have got to get to the other side of town. Andy, you're the only person I know who would tell his friends to dress up in 60s clothing for a secret event in London. Even made us grow moustaches and had to approve our outfits to ensure that there were 6s enough by sending him photos and then take us to a 70s club.
It was fun.
I am there now. Everybody. As these two have tied the knot today, and as they now chart their journey across life's ocean, I'd like to finish by asking everyone to please be upstanding and raise your glasses as we wish this crazy, beautiful couple a long and happy voyage together, filled with love, laughter, adventure, and wonderful memories. It's Mr. and Mrs. Morton. Thank you.
Thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you. I think Teresa's got a friend. give the mic to Teresa.
I think Teresa's coming up now.
That's going really well, isn't it?
We are the cheap entertainment. Here's my other half.
I just have a little poem for Andy and Dawn. So the day has finally come for the wedding of Andy and Dawn. My God, it has been a wait. COVID really took hold like a storm. So now they are husband and wife, and their wedding journey has begun. We're all making memories. Let's all make this the most memorable one. So how did the couple first meet and start their love affair? A blind date by best friend Pam. A laugh, she thought, for the pair. White Hart was the location. June 2012 was the date. Plenty of sparks were flying. An inferno they did create. They dated for a while, just having a laugh they thought, until both began to realise they were truly and deeply caught. Romance blossomed and grew and grew and grew. Then Andy got down on one knee, and Dawn, of course, said, I do. Now, Andy and Dawn like to party, and dressing up is their favourite game. At least 30 crazy wigs later, and moustaches I've gained. They both love to sing karaoke, and karaoke kings and queens they are. Andy's a little bit country, and Dawn's a smoother sound by far. So they both have lovely voices. It's a joy to hear. Unfortunately, when some of the rest of us join in, you really don't want to be near. Their party nights are legend, trays of shots galore. A combination of singing and dancing often leaves someone up on the table or a heap down on the floor. Yeah, usually. Andy loves being captain and sailing the ocean blue, enlisting all his friends to be his worthy crew. Hoping they know how to sail as they set out to sea. Captain Andy barking orders, the crew thinking, let's mutiny. No, what a well-matched couple. It's very plain to see. Andy thinks he's boss, but it's Dawn who holds the key. In joining two families together, where everyone gets on, her wild and wonderful character you can always rely upon. So now I would just like to say, I wish you a wonderful life and all the happiness in the world on your adventure as husband and wife.
Yeah. Let's eat and drink and party.
You're right there.